Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic day today, coming off of the men's basketball championship. The women's basketball championship played the day before, so Easter Sunday and Easter Monday jam-packed for us to give us that basketball and to help us see who is going to be crowned a champion here. And I mean, really, honestly, I'm just happy that we had anything to be. I mean, I understand that, everybody's got a dog in the race, so to speak. Maybe you were hoping that Gonzaga would win because you're a Gonzaga fan, or, maybe on the women's side, you're hoping Arizona would pull it off because you just became a fan of McDonald or whatever it may be. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm happy to know that we had a season, just any season whatsoever. I'm just happy that we had something and we were able to put it together. So that's where I'm most excited, is the fact that we got a season off. We did it, safely and soundly, and we got to truly get the kids back out there, which was huge. And we'll talk about that more in just a couple minutes. But here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, we're happy to be here with you. And thank you so much for tuning into this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Wake Up Call here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can watch us on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, as well as on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and you can listen on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, where the MixLR feed is embedded. So make sure you check us out on all of those avenues and have some fun with us this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the first full week of April. And coming up in MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', Cole Swider will be joining the show in just a little bit at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to tell his story. Cole is the newest addition to Syracuse Orange men's basketball, coming over in the transfer portal from the Villanova Wildcats. And due to the extra year from the COVID situation, everybody, no matter what their designation is freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, or redshirt this and that, these players that have utilized a season will get an extra season. So Cole Swider's played 3 seasons at Villanova, which should give him 1 year left of eligibility, but he actually will now have 2 if he decides to use it. So Cole will be coming over to Syracuse, and Syracuse recruited him the first time around. He ultimately chose Villanova, and the second time around he'll be telling his story on why he chose Syracuse this time, who did it, what player really pushed it for him, and what he thinks about the future of Syracuse ball. So Cole Swider's story for all Syracuse fans is a must-listen, and it's coming up today at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and you won't hear it anywhere else like you're going to hear it here today. Then coming up at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, we have another first-time guest, and that is Tebucky Jones. Tebucky, who played running back and defensive back at Syracuse, and then went on to the NFL to play in their secondary for teams like the Patriots and the Saints. Tebucky will be joining us today at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time to tell his story. And I'm ecstatic because Tebucky was one of my favorite players growing up. Loved his name, loved watching his team, and I feel and I'm so excited that he got to obviously have a career inside of the NFL. And I'm very much looking forward to having Tebucky Jones on the broadcast at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. So just a little bit here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And we'll round out today's broadcast as we do every Tuesday with the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, where we will actually be tonight for an extension of Wake Up Call, as I will have the Liverpool Warriors boys basketball team, Ryan Blackwell and his players as student athletes, will be joining us on site, on location at Avicolli's tonight, April 6th at 6 p.m. So easy to remember, April 6th at 6. We'll see you at Avicolli's. They jam-packed the place, and that's all shout out to the supporters of the boys volleyball team. We had a jam-packed crowd, obviously sitting where they were allowed to sit, but all the seats that were allowed to be taken were taken up, and we look forward to doing that again tonight with Liverpool boys basketball. So come out and support the boys basketball team at Avicolli's tonight, April 6th at 6 p.m. We'll be going live on site, on location with Wake Up Call from Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. So come out and see us, grab a slice, get something to drink, have some fun. So basically come out and have your dinner and a show. And we'll be on Facebook Live as well with the kids. So make sure you come out and see them. And if you can't come out and see them, then make sure that you're tuning in here on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT for the kids. And I'm very, very much excited to have them out here. Good morning to my teacher, Miss Jax. Good morning to Alan. Good morning to everybody that's watching and listening right now. I truly appreciate it. So, a lot of great stuff coming up today with Cole Swider and Tebucky Jones joining Wake Up Call for the first time. Syracuse basketball fans, get your fix with Mr. Cole Swider, and those football fans getting their fix with Tebucky Jones as we're back in spring practice. And, of course, the ingredients to success. Always a great time here for you, and always a positive segment for your day every Tuesday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. And so you'll have the opportunity to hear this week's Ingredients to Success, probably brought to you by Avicolli's, at the end of today's show. So, a lot of great stuff coming up. Very excited to bring that to you. But before we go into the conversation with Cole, it is important for us to obviously have the conversation about last night and what happened with the men's basketball tournament. The men putting together what we thought would be the two arguably best teams in college basketball on the men's side. And what ended up happening is Baylor did what they did to Houston. They came out and they struck and they just kept firing. They just didn't stop. Remember when they came out against Houston in the Final Four? And at one point we're up 40-18. Well, in this game they were up 23-8, making their first 5 3-point attempts and just pouring it on. They came on with such fire and such fervor. I mean, they had everything they needed to have. Baylor was ready offensively and defensively. Just an incredible, incredible start to the game. They never took their foot off the gas, really. I mean, and Gonzaga would make some points, and they would do some things here and there. And right before halftime, Gonzaga made it interesting. But that was the most that they would do, is make it interesting. Outside of making it somewhat interesting, there wasn't a lot to write home about with Gonzaga. And, that is such credit and kudos to everything that Baylor did in this game. Baylor was tremendous defensively. You would think, oh, okay, they missed him on that one, and then they would come back and block the shot. They forced Gonzaga to make every single bucket they possibly could. They pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed Gonzaga. They did. And, you look at Gonzaga going undefeated this season. They play up against the best defense that they've ever played this season, arguably, when they play in the national championship game. And that Baylor defense was tremendous. And that's the thing. I mean, yeah, we could talk about how Baylor made a bunch of shots, and obviously that makes sense. And we know, and offensively they can get going and make it interesting. But what they did defensively is what ultimately decided this game. They did not, every time Gonzaga, somebody would catch the ball, 9 times out of 10, they're fronting you. 9 times out of 10, they're in your face. They're not letting you move. And, it was like, I've seen Gonzaga impose their will on everybody I've seen them play. But they couldn't impose their will on Baylor, which says a lot about Baylor. It says a lot about their defense. It says a lot about, they were just so ready for this game. So ready for this game. And I have nothing but respect. I really don't. For Baylor, I have nothing but respect. Nothing short of respect. I wanted Gonzaga to win. I picked Gonzaga to win. And I can't take anything away from Baylor. They had this game from the moment the ball was tipped. And every time Gonzaga tried to respond, Baylor responded again. They had multiple players with 4 fouls. Didn't matter. This has been such. Baylor's run, and I have to give credit where credit is due. I did not pick Baylor. I didn't pick Baylor to go far at all. I thought Baylor would have issues with the winner of the North Carolina-Wisconsin game. And part of me was like, should I pick them? Because they could offensively just go off, and they can score a lot of points, as you saw last night. But something inside of me was like, no, I don't think I'm gonna rock with Baylor. I'm gonna pick them to lose early. And they just continue to go through their bracket. I didn't think that they were going to be a 1 seed that got through the bracket. I thought the only 1 seed was going to be Gonzaga. So Baylor proved me wrong repeatedly. And I have respect for that. I can admit when I'm wrong, and I was about you, Baylor. I was wrong. And I'll make sure that I pay very close attention to you from here, see what you have moving forward. Because, they did. They just brought it in this game. And it wasn't one guy, and it wasn't two guys, and it wasn't three guys. It was the team. This was a total team defensive and offensive effort. They ran out to a 9-0 lead early. They put Gonzaga in a 19-point deficit in the first half at one point. And Gonzaga, every time they fought back, Baylor did something. And at halftime, Gonzaga had fought back to a 10-point deficit, 47-37. But the only way they were going to be able to close that gap completely was if they could defensively shut down Baylor, and they couldn't. Because Baylor had their outside shooters making shots, and when you went to the outside, they would send it inside and get a bunch of easy buckets. Baylor just fundamentally knew what they were doing. They knew how to beat Gonzaga. They did it, and it worked. They took their threes fell. It's kind of like playing football. If your quarterback's passes are all connecting, or most of them are connecting, it's going to open up the run game. If the run game's going nuts, it's going to open up the pass game. That's what happened with Baylor. Their three-point shots were dropping, their jump shots were dropping, so it allowed them to go inside. Because if you cheated one way, then they went the other way. And they made Gonzaga lose their feet on defense multiple times. They got a bunch of open looks at the basket, and with as many shots as Baylor made, if they made any more, this game would have been way out of reach. It would have been 100-70. So the only way Gonzaga was going to come back in the second half is if Baylor slowed down, and they didn't. Baylor was the first team to score in the second half, and they hit on a three by Jared Butler, and they just kept going from there. They just kept going, and no matter how close Gonzaga would get, it would always extend back out Baylor's direction. They couldn't close the gap. Baylor was just too much offensively and harassed them too much defensively. This was a full team effort, like I said before, and it was an all-around success. It wasn't, they shoot really well, but they don't rebound. Or, that's what it was. It wasn't like they're shooting well, but they're not rebounding. They're rebounding well, but they're not passing well. They're passing well, but they're not defending well. They did everything they were supposed to do. Baylor was ready for the top team in the country, and they proved it. The funny thing is they made 5 out of 5 to start at three-point range, and then they made 10 out of 23. As the game progressed, they really didn't have to force them and take them, which is something I think Syracuse can learn. But it's one of those things where they realize we don't need the three. We just need to use the clock. We just need to break them down. And they did. Extremely creative. Made 30 out of 67 in the game. So nothing crazy to write home about. 44.8% from the field. But they did everything they needed to do. They had 38 rebounds, 18 assists, 8 steals, 5 blocks in the game. And not to take away from Gonzaga, they had 16 assists. They had 4 steals in the game. They had 3 blocks. But Baylor made the most out of those 14 turnovers by Gonzaga. And Gonzaga got out-rebounded. With their 2 big men and everybody being active, they got out-rebounded 38-22. Gonzaga's total rebounds were the total rebounds that Baylor had on defense. Gonzaga with 22 rebounds, Baylor with 22 rebounds on defense. They had 16 offensive rebounds. They played an almost perfect game. almost 20 offensive rebounds, over 20 defensive rebounds, 18 assists, 40 almost 40 rebounds, 38 to 22 in the rebounding thing overall against Gonzaga, and making the most of the 14 turnovers by Gonzaga and shooting well. They did what they needed to do. Gonzaga shot 51% from the field, 29% from 3, 5 for 17. Those threes weren't falling, but here's the thing. They weren't getting the shots off. The threes weren't falling, but they weren't even getting a chance to take a clean look. Baylor was on every single player. They didn't let anybody have anything easy in this game. That was the game changer. That was the game changer. And I mean, it really is as simple as that. If you go back and you watch the tape, this is a coach's dream watching Baylor. Hand in the face every time. Front of man every time. Stayed with them every time. And as soon as they got on offense, they came right at you. They forced you to foul them. Baylor just attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked. Gonzaga could not do anything but foul, could not do anything but, I mean, they had to chase them down. Baylor never lost their energy. They never lost their focus. They never lost what they desired. They kept it right in front of them the whole time. Never got away from them. They never got too big for the moment. I can't say enough about everything they were supposed to do, they did. And what I just said, they never got too big for the moment. No jitters. If they had jitters, they didn't show them. Baylor was just all day focus. And I love watching that, being a student of the game, playing the game growing up, being around the game my whole life. I love the fact that when they got on offense and they're at the top of the key and they're dribbling that ball, there's guys moving the whole time and they're either dishing it off or somebody is coming right at you. And Gonzaga had to be careful. And then Suggs picks up 2 early fouls, and then Timmy picks up his 4th foul in the second half, and everybody's kind of, what do we do now? That's the thing. Baylor just kept coming at you, and they did it in a very poised way. They attacked you, but they didn't do it without control. So there wasn't that concern about offensive fouls. They just knew to, and the better they were doing on offense and the better their shots were going down, Gonzaga didn't know where to go. They didn't know who to guard. They come out to the 3, they dish it inside. They dish it inside, somebody open, they kick it. I mean, they knew what they were doing. Baylor just looked better. And I love Gonzaga. And I respect Mark Few. 22 seasons at Gonzaga. Love it. But Baylor, they did it all. They did it all. They deserve this championship times 10 because they did it all. And it's the first time the men's basketball team's ever won. And I think it's been 73 years since they were in the championship. So, I mean, Baylor, and again, Baylor's from the Big 12. But Gonzaga, outside of the quote-unquote Power 5, I feel like some people think Baylor is too because you don't talk about Baylor. You talk about Kansas in the Big 12. You talk about Texas in the Big 12. You talk about Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. You don't talk about Baylor. Well, Baylor last year was ranked in the top 5, and Gonzaga was too, and arguably this could have happened last year. And it was taken away from us, like a lot of things, due to the pandemic. And I feel like, and I've said this before, I believe that, I have a strong faith, and I believe that things that are meant to work out will work out. I believe God kind of oversees it all. And I'm not saying God's a Baylor fan or God's a Gonzaga fan. I'm not saying that at all. So don't get it twisted. I'm saying I truly believe if something's meant to be somebody's, it comes back around. And in the case of Baylor and Gonzaga, they had this stolen from them. They arguably could have been 2 number 1 seeds and would have been in this tournament potentially all the way till the end. And they didn't get to play in a tournament in 2020. So to do it in 2021 and both get through and both get to this point and both get to play each other, it seems like it almost righted last year and this year. The only thing that would have made it totally right was if we had Dayton. Because, and I said this last year before I knew anything that was going to happen this year. I said Dayton will suffer arguably more than anybody else because there was no 2020 NCAA tournament. Because Dayton is never a 1 seed. You don't see that. And so not only were they going to be a 1 seed, but, I mean, they very well could have won the tournament. Dayton will suffer arguably more than anybody else. And then Dayton didn't even make the tournament this year. They went from being what would have been a 1 seed, maybe the number 1 overall seed, to not making the tournament this year, not being one of any of the 68 spots. So I do feel like Gonzaga and Baylor's paths were righted, but I hope to goodness that Dayton's path is righted soon, because those guys deserve the best. And Obi Toppin's not there anymore, and he would have been there for the tournament last year. Now he's with the Knicks. So it would have been incredible. And I hope and I believe that their path will be righted. I do. I believe things will work out for the Dayton Flyers. And they'll fly high again. I hope so. And the first 4, I hope it goes back to Dayton, Ohio. Not that Indianapolis did anything wrong with it, but it belongs in Dayton. And I got to go out to Dayton, Ohio to see the first 4, and I thought it was great. I thought the experience was incredible. It really was. It was like finding a mini Final Four, right? Because you got 8 teams in the building all playing their playing games. I had Radford and there's some great teams in there. St. Bonnie's, Syracuse, and it was just a lot of fun. So I hope that not only do I hope that Dayton, everything works out with Dayton, but I hope that the first 4 returns to Dayton, Ohio for 2022. And we get back to that normalcy, because that would be great to see. And I want to give a shout out to this week on Thursday, I'm going to have a women's panel, which is fantastic. I'm ecstatic to have it, and you should definitely tune in. It's going to be all video for those of you that are listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com. I'll make sure there's an audio version for you to listen along with as we watch on Facebook and YouTube live. But I'm ecstatic to have this, and that's why I haven't said a ton about the women's tournament as far as like the championship, because I'm saving it for Amy Sakaitis, who's going to be joining us, head coach of Lebanon Valley, and also be joined by Emily O'Donnell, the assistant coach of the Coast Guard, Bridget Walsh, assistant SID for King's College, and Caitlin Hajmahalis, who will be joining us as the head coach of King's College. That panel of fantastic people is coming to you this Thursday after Papa Joe, so do not miss a second of it, and I'm very, very excited that it's going to be coming up for us, and we'll be able to have a good time with it. So a lot of great stuff coming up this week. I have a Syracuse men's basketball panel. There's so many great things. I got my man Bo Edmondson, 2023 quarterback down in Texas, who's being highly recruited right now. So the shows this week are just going to continuously, we're just pouring it on. It's like having like your favorite sundae with more and more hot fudge and more sprinkles and whipped cream and a cherry and all the good stuff. So a lot of great stuff coming up. And speaking of that, we'll take a step aside here inside of MonPodPopcorn.com. So what's popping? Coming up in just a second, Cole Swider joins the show for the first time ever, and he'll be telling his story as the newest addition to Syracuse via the transfer portal. That'll be coming up after this fast break here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. I'm honored and privileged to have Cole Swider on the show here with me today, coming to us from the transfer portal and to Syracuse. Cole, how you doing today?
Doing well, man. Hopefully I don't have to say all the stuff that you just said. But
yeah, there's going to be a test at the end, brother. You're going to have to remember it all.
Wow, that was impressive.
So Cole, I mean, I remember, kind of finding you on social media and linking up with you back when you were first being recruited, and you were recruited by Syracuse back then when you ultimately chose Villanova. So what can you tell me about when you were recruited the first time around by Syracuse?
Yeah, first time I was recruited by Syracuse. It was a great experience. I mean, I came up for an official visit. I really got the sense of the culture and the brotherhood within the program. You know what I mean? And ultimately, the comfort level that I had from that visit and the comfort level that I had with the coaches and staff and the style of play led it to an easy decision this time around when choosing. So it was obviously a tough decision to pass on Syracuse the first time, but in my heart, this time it felt right that Syracuse would be the right place for me.
What was it the first time where Villanova just had a little bit of an edge over Syracuse? And was Syracuse were they the number two, or were they like a close second when you made that initial decision?
Yeah, they were right there for sure. I mean, when choosing Villanova, it was a decision that I just felt in my heart. You know what I mean? I can't really put a thing on it. I mean, I really liked Coach. I still love Coach Wright. The program that he built, and playing in the Big East is a lot of local games, and that just drew me to Villanova. I mean, Syracuse gave me a great pitch, and obviously playing the ACC, one of the best conferences in the country, was very intriguing. And ultimately, my relationship with them the first time around led me to the decision to make this my home for when I entered the transfer portal.
And Cole, it's so ironic that Syracuse used to be a part of the Big East, and Villanova is a part of this like new age Big East. So you got to play in the Big East, now you get to play for Syracuse. How strange is that when you think about the fact that they used to be together, and now in some unique, ironic way, you get to be in the Big East, and now you get to be with Syracuse?
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I'm so blessed to be able to play for, obviously, Villanova, Trey, and now to be able to play for Jim Boeheim and Syracuse. How lucky am I? You know what I mean? So these two programs are so historic. They're blue bloods in my eyes, and to be able to say that I played for both these great institutions and great basketball programs is such a blessing, and something I'm so excited for moving forward.
And Cole, for you, what ultimately did, 3 years at Villanova, you said you liked the experience, love Coach Wright, and that you continue to. What made you feel that this move to the transfer portal was the right move for you?
I think with COVID and the fifth year rule allowing seniors to come back, it allowed for some of our seniors to come back that we initially thought were going to leave. So I saw that, and it was nothing against Coach Ray or anything about the staff. I saw that and ultimately decided that there wasn't too much opportunity to grow in my role. You know what I mean? Obviously, winning is important to me, and obviously being a big part of the team is important to me. So I found that balance at Syracuse, and that's something I was looking for when leaving Villanova. And then the on-court fit at times wasn't the best for me. So I was trying to look for the best on-court fit when choosing this next school as well.
Speaking here with Cole Swider coming into Syracuse from Villanova. Cole, why is Syracuse a better fit for you in your opinion right now?
I think how they use shooters. I think watching Betty play this year, I think it's a great fit, not only on the offensive end but the defensive end. The way they play on the offensive end really fits my game when shooting threes and really using their wings to create and make plays. I think on the defensive end, playing in the zone, I have great length. I'm a smart defender. I'm quicker than most people think. I'm a better defender than most people think. But I think it's just an overall great fit, not only offensively but defensively, for me to continue to grow and get better at my craft, at my game.
You know, you bring up the defensive side, and I commend you for that, Cole, because so many people want to talk about scoring, but you're looking at both ends. What excites you about Boeheim's 2-3 zone? Because we know that other teams play a 2-3 zone at times, but he has been so dedicated to it, and it has nuances of other pieces of defenses, and it really isn't it's not your traditional 2-3 zone by any stretch of the imagination. So what do you like about it?
Yeah, when studying on film, I think the zone is very versatile. You know what I mean? They take away the drive. They take away a lot of threes. And honestly, they do a lot of scouting in the zone. You know what I mean? When previously playing the zone before, there wasn't a lot of scouts and a lot of knowing certain personnel while in the zone. Obviously, you know who the shooters are, and you know who is doing this and that just based on our man-to-man scout. But with the zone, I mean, the way they lift their wings up, the way they contest shooters, it's really impressive. And honestly, I think it's a great thing for me to develop next when going in the zone is to be able to learn this style of defense. Obviously, playing a predominantly man-to-man defense at Villanova, this is going to allow me to just continue my development as a defender and continue my development just knowing the game at an even higher level than I do now.
I know you're just coming into Syracuse and you have a couple seasons if you decide to take them both, but do you think that this is going to build you your pro status and opportunity, so to speak? Do you think playing predominantly man-to-man with Jay Wright and now playing it predominantly, obviously playing in the 2-3 zone with Jim Boeheim, do you think that this is going to allow you to improve your resume when you eventually do look to your future?
I do. I think I developed under Coach Wright, and everyone knows the type of program that he runs and the success that they have over there and the NBA players that they have. And I get to finish my career under Coach Boeheim. And he has a very similar track record when it comes to NBA players, when it comes to producing pros and producing very high-level shooters and scorers. So I think that this is honestly the best-case scenario for me to learn from two of the best and honestly, on both sides of the basketball, continue my development.
Cole, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, speaking with Cole Swider inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cole, to be in the transfer portal, what was that like for you? Because I know it's like you enter the name, and I mean, to you it's probably more, obviously it's more business, but when people think about this portal, it's almost like this Marvel Universe type of feel to it. It's like the multiverse, right? There's all these people that are jumped in there, and everybody's trying to find their place. There's some coaches that hit refresh like every 5 seconds to see who entered the portal and who's out. What was it like for you to go in the portal, and did it feel just like business, or did it feel strange at all? Was it nerve-wracking or like an anxiety type of thing, or what can you tell me about it?
Yeah, I mean, going to the portal, I knew this time the questions to ask and the programs I was looking for. You know what I mean? And in high school, I didn't always have the knowledge of the questions to ask, and honestly, like trying to find a program that values my skills. You know what I mean? And that was one of the big things when entering the transfer portals. I knew the questions to ask. I had a much greater knowledge of the game now, so it made the process a lot easier for me. I mean, it is the Wild West in the transfer portal right now, and I hope everyone finds a home that they think is right. I never thought I would transfer from Villanova. I thought I would be there for 4 years, but at the end of the day, I decided to enter and find. I think I found the best home and best fit for me to finish out my college career.
Not many people get to do this because these situations didn't even really exist back in the day, but for you to choose Villanova over Syracuse, knowing that when you were first being recruited, Syracuse meant something to you, but you ultimately felt right at Villanova, being able to choose Villanova and to choose Syracuse, is that surreal for you, that it's like you got a second shot at choosing Syracuse and you took it, but you also had the experience of being in Villanova? What is that like for you to know that, you know, recruiting wise and in your life, you, in a very unique way that people get to do now, you got to essentially choose both of them and not just one of them?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you look back on and you realize how blessed you are that Syracuse still believed in me through my time at Villanova. You know what I mean? They could have very easily said that they were full and they didn't have a spot for me. But they believed in me. Their confidence is high as ever on me, and they believe I can make an impact on this team. And I'm so blessed and thankful that they believed in me, and I'm ready to give them everything I got.
We see that, you know, with you at the forward position, Cole, the Quincy situation's very fluid. Don't know if he's going to come back or stay in the draft or what he's going to do. Marek is moving on after playing minutes his entire 4-year career at Syracuse. And Robert Braswell, who was going to carve out some minutes, in my opinion at least, decided to leave. So at the forward position, do you feel like it's a pretty open competition? What is your sense of that room of forwards at Syracuse, knowing that there's changes that have obviously gone on and there's people that had minutes last year that are not going to be there this coming season?
I mean, I think that was part of the reason why they reached out to me. You know what I mean? Obviously, the hole that they had at the forward position, they made me feel like I was wanted, I was needed. Because of those departures and because of those people who decided to move on. But I'm excited, man. Like I said, I'm gonna work for everything I get. I don't want anything given to me, and I want to earn it. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna continue to work hard, continue to get better every single day, and hopefully that ends up in me filling a big hole that we have at the forward spot.
And as far as relationships go, Cole, do you have close connections on the team already that you feel are already kind of there as a baseline?
Yeah, I mean, Buddy Boeheim was a big part of my re-recruitment back to Syracuse. He made me feel at home. He made me feel that this was going to be a place where me and him were going to be best friends, and we're really gonna thrive together on and off the court. I played against Symir and I played against Joe Girard growing up a lot, and then I know Jimmy Boeheim if he decides to come on board. So I have relationships with a couple of the guys. So it'll be interesting to see once I get there how these relationships form, and honestly I can't wait to get to work with them and build that close bond with them and see where that goes this season.
Playing on the court, potentially.
A better story is that they earned everything that they've gotten so far. You know what I mean? Buddy has becoming one of the best players in the ACC, and he's earned it. You know what I mean? No one gave him anything, and it's not the typical father-son coaching dynamic that we see in youth sports sometimes. You know what I mean? Buddy's earned it, and if Jimmy decides to come on board, then he's going to have to earn everything he gets too. You know what I mean? And he's had a great career at Cornell, and I know they work incredibly hard, so I can't wait to be around that and be around them and be around people who work hard and ultimately see the benefits from that.
You spoke about Buddy being huge in your recruitment and saying that you're going to be best friends there, you're going to work hard together. What was his selling point? What did he say to you that really hit home for you?
He wanted me to know that I'm wanted and I'm needed. You know what I mean? He knows what I can bring to the table. He's seen me play at a high level. He knows how good I am. He knows the kind of IQ and person I am around the program. You know what I mean? I come from a program at Villanova where we won a lot, and all he wants to do is win. And he knows that I'm going to bring winning and I'm going to bring experience of getting to that stage. So he just wanted me to know how much he wanted me to come. And by having the best player on the team call you and tell you that, it just made me realize that this is the best place for me.
The coaching staff, who have you built relationships with? Who was a part of your re-recruitment? What can you say on the coaching side of Syracuse that you really felt like made you feel at home? I know Buddy was a huge part of it, but were there any coaches on the staff that really made you feel loved or kind of reignited that fire for Syracuse?
Yeah, Jerry McNamara has recruited me since I was a sophomore in high school, so he's been a big part in my recruitment. I developed an amazing relationship with him the first time around, and this time the relationship just picked right back up where we left off. You know what I mean? He was great to me and my family when I decided not to come to Syracuse, and he was even better to my family when I decided to come to Syracuse. So. He's an amazing guy. I developed a great relationship, and Coach Boeheim, we talked a bunch about what he expects, what he sees in me, and yeah, I mean, I developed a great relationship with Coach Autry and Coach Griffin when I was there on my official visit. So I'm really comfortable with all the coaches, and I'm really comfortable with all the people around Syracuse, not only the coaches, the strength coach, and everybody in between. So I'm really comfortable at Syracuse, and I'm excited to start my journey.
Cole Swider here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cole, before I let you go here, to look at what you bring to Syracuse, what would you say are your best attributes? What are the best parts of your game that you feel like can help immediately? And then secondly, what are the things you're working on right now to try and be a better asset to Syracuse?
Yeah, I think the immediate things that jump off the page is my ability to shoot the basketball, my ability to score the basketball. I think defensively, my length and my ability to rebound the basketball are going to help us right away. I mean, and I'm just going to keep on trying to get better at lateral quickness, my ball handling skills, and obviously making plays off the bounce. Continuing just to develop in those areas will only help us reach our end goal.
You played almost 20 minutes the last couple seasons, so almost half the game on average. What did your experience teach you, and what can Syracuse expect out of you? Are you looking to be a 20-minute guy? Are you looking to be one of the main components? I mean, how do you see yourself fitting in right away? I know you're not practicing and in the thick of things right now, but what did the 20 minutes a game, or almost 20 minutes a game, what did that teach you, and what does it say about what we can expect from you?
I mean, I'm just looking for a fresh start and an opportunity to be a key contributor on this team. Obviously at Villanova, I got a great opportunity, and I tried every single day to take advantage of my opportunity while I was there. I'm just going to work hard and work for my opportunity to hopefully be a key member of this team, and yeah, I mean, for me, coming to Syracuse, I see an opportunity, and I'm going to work every single day to earn that. You
got this opportunity to come to Syracuse and do something special. This year, you also got a free year, a very unique situation that all student athletes, no matter what year you were in school, essentially got a year added on. What does that mean to you, that you played 3 at Villanova and now you technically have 2 at Syracuse if you're willing to take them. Does that almost make you feel? I mean, it's like splitting your career in 2. What does the free year mean to you, and what role did that play in you wanting to potentially transfer as well, knowing that you would not just have like a graduate season, so to speak, in a lot of cases, but that you have these 2 years to work with now?
Yeah, it was a factor, but I'm just focused on this season, and then after the season, I'm going to decide whether or not to use that 5th year. I mean, I'm willing to. I definitely consider it. You know what I mean? But it's definitely a great thing that the NCAA did, knowing that some teams only played 12 to 14 games. We were blessed. The Syracuse was blessed to play around 25. We played 26. I think Syracuse played 28. But yeah, no, I was focused on this season, and then we'll figure out all the steps after that.
You played against Symir Torrance. You played against Joe Girard III. From playing against them, what do you think their talents are?
I mean, Symir is incredible. Is an incredible point guard. I mean, he sees the floor really well. He can get to the basket. He can shoot the 3. He's real versatile in what he can do. And then playing against Joe Girard, obviously, the person that sticks out to everybody is his ability to shoot the ball. But I think he's improved a lot as a ball handler. I think he's improved a lot as making plays for other people. And I think with his work ethic and Symir's work ethic, we're just going to continue to get better and continue to expand on their games.
Final piece, Cole. You get asked the questions all the time. That's what coaches and players get. But on my show, I flip the script, and it gives you an opportunity to put somebody on the hot seat and know what it feels like to be the interviewer. So it could be about sports, basketball, Cuse, literally anything. Could be about life. You got 3 questions here with Cole Swider on Wake Up Call inside the Cafe Cubal studios. You can ask me anything you want, a trio of questions, and enjoy this, because I don't know the next time someone's going to let you ask the questions. So,
sure.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, man. Are you a Syracuse grad?
I'm not a Syracuse grad. I actually was born and raised in Syracuse and decided to go out of state. I wanted to experience, kind of see what was out there for me. There was a part of me that wanted to stay. There's a part of me that wanted to go. But I didn't go too far away. I went a couple hours away. But it was nice to kind of get the experience outside. But I came back here to start my business. I mean, I was in Pennsylvania, I was in Florida, ESPN and Fox and whatnot, and I came back to start my business in my hometown of Syracuse. So I am not a Syracuse grad, but this city has been in my blood my entire life.
Sure. What's the best local spot in Syracuse to go to for a guy looking for a quick bite to eat?
Well, what are you looking for? I got a couple places. Tell me what you want.
Let's go. Maybe like the best burger in town.
Man, that's tough. The best burger in town. That's really tough. I would. Jeez. You know what? That's very, very difficult for me to figure out. I can barbecue, like brisket. I love Limp Lizard. Limp Lizard and Dinosaur Barbecue have their own stuff that they're good at. Yep. I would say Italian food like veal, Parmesan, and whatnot, Avicolli's. I would say you want a good steak sandwich, go to Wildcat. But it's hard for me to pick. I don't know if I have a favorite burger yet, man. You really put me on the spot with that, and now I'm gonna have to go taste test. Maybe when you come in town, we'll have to do a little taste test.
Definitely.
All right, what's your last one?
And what are your expectations of the team of Syracuse this year? You like the team that we're building so far?
I would tell you that I'm an eternal optimist, so I had them going to the Sweet 16 this year. I had them winning the national championship in 2003. I know that many people made fun of that. I had them in 2016 being the top of the ACC with North Carolina, and they made it to the Final Four, and there was an article written about me, and I think in a way how crazy I was, and then when I was right, nobody wanted to do a second article. So I can tell you that I will always lean on the side of believing in the Orange, and I think you guys can go as far as you believe you can. And I'm very close with Buddy. I know that man's got a chip on his shoulder, and
as do I.
And you do too. So I think that's only going to make better, and you're coming from a storied program with a great coach. So I think your experience is going to help. I think Symir coming home is going to help. I think another year that these guys had will help, and hopefully Quincy, if he comes back, I do think sky's the limit. You can never count out Syracuse, especially in the tournament. And I can honestly tell you that I call myself a 0.1 percenter in the media. That 99.9% don't care about you; they just want the story. Where 0.1% care about the relationships. So I can promise you, the more you guys win, the more I'll be smirking on press row. So keep me smirking, okay?
That's what I like to hear.
So that coming from Cole Swider, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside the Cafe Kubala studios. Cole, perfect timing that we finally got to talk, and I can only tell you that I can't wait to continue our conversations from Syracuse here on forward, and I look forward to telling your story.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
You as well. All right, bye.
That coming once again from Cole Swider of Syracuse. I can say it now officially, of Syracuse, coming to the Orange from Villanova after playing three seasons in the city of Philadelphia, where you will find Villanova. So very excited to have Cole join the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team, and appreciate him so much for taking the time that he took to be a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora today inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. I told you, a lot of great stuff coming up, and having Cole tell his story is so important and so vital. And he said, it's a little bit of a Jimmy, little bit of Jimmy Boeheim. So if Jimmy decides to come, so yet another note on top of the article that I wrote to you, which stated that I believe you should wrap your head around the fact that Jimmy Boeheim will be ending up in Syracuse. So make sure you check for that. And Greg said, Cole was a great addition for the Orange. Excited to see what he can contribute next season. He said, Dan has to up his burger game. Yeah, I do. I don't have a favorite burger in Syracuse. You know what? Maybe that should be a wake-up call little journey that we do. Maybe we do the wake-up call burger challenge, and I have y'all send in places that you think burgers are good, and I'll go and test them out, and then I'll pick a burger. So maybe we need to find me the best burger in Syracuse. This is my hometown, and I really honestly don't have a favorite burger here. So I love the fact that Cole asked the question, because it's provoked me to now ask you the question. So if you have a favorite burger spot in Central and Upstate New York, send it to me. And I may start this burger challenge and figure out which one I like the best, which I'm very happy that I continue to walk, because I got to keep them pounds off. So if I'm going to be eating burgers, I got to keep trucking like I do. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. Thank you to Cole for joining the show again. Plenty coming up, folks. So get comfy, get settled. Tebucky Jones in hour number 2 at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. And the Ingredients to Success, brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Plenty coming up on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Shout out to Cole Swider, who came here today on Wake Up Call to tell his story in a way that you won't hear anywhere else. Special moments are made on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we're happy that you're here for them. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're listening and watching, thank you so much for tuning into this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And like I said, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, you'll find us here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Fill your cup with whatever you'd like at Cafe Kubal, from their coffees and teas to my favorite chais, the mint chai, the pumpkin spice chai, all the flavors they have throughout the year. Fantastic. I tried the maple one, it's kind of like a maple cinnamon type of feel to it. So very, very much a fan of Cafe Kubal and their sandwiches and their desserts and muffins and everything that they have. So head out to Cafe Kubal today. There are 5 locations and more on their way, surprises from Cafe Kubal. So make sure you head out there to 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, 208 North Townsend Street, which is where Cafe Kubal Co-works is, and you can rent out space for your business as well as record your podcast and have a little studio area for yourself for podcasting, TV, and radio, where we went with Gene Waldron a couple weeks ago. And they have their newest location on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in that giant behemoth of a building where all the roads converge in Manlius. They converge right there to Cafe Kubal in that brown striped building, which actually looks like coffee that's kind of like coming out of the coffee maker. So really, really cool. Cafe Kubal, head out there today. 5 locations and, of course, local and here for you. So, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We talked about Baylor and the game that they had against Gonzaga. We just had Cole Swider on the broadcast giving his story. And in just a few minutes, Tebucky Jones will be joining Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, which I think is a perfect time for me to give you a little background on Mr. Tebucky Jones. So, Tebucky Jones, one of my favorite players of all time from Syracuse history. And Tebucky played in the Big East from 94 to 97. He played running back for Syracuse and then switched to DB. As running back of the team, he had 7 games in 1994 and had 49 yards, and then was utilized more in 95 with 9 games, 62 attempts, 223 yards rushing, and 5 touchdowns. In 1996, he had 54 carries for 223 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then eventually shifted over to DB and played on a kick and punt return as well. for Syracuse, kick return, I should say, and 95 having 8 returns for 163 yards, averaging a little over 20 yards per kick return. Then Tebucky went on to play inside of the NFL, and Tebucky Jones, with his career in the NFL, played over 100 games in the NFL. He was drafted by the New England Patriots in the first round, 22nd overall in the 1998 NFL draft, and played with the New England Patriots for 5 seasons before moving on to New Orleans. And in 5 seasons with New England, he had 4 interceptions. He started 36 games, and he had 3 forced fumbles as well within all of that. He had a fumble return for a touchdown, and then went on to New Orleans for a couple years, played in all 31 games, started in all 31 games that he played in, had 2 forced fumbles there as well, and then finished up his time with the Miami Dolphins, and played safety. So really cool to see what Tebucky did in his career. Not only was he great at Syracuse, where I got to watch him live, thanks to my family, my dad taking me out to the games, but seeing Tebucky Jones in orange and blue, and then seeing him move on to the NFL and be drafted in the first round, and then to move forward to everything he did in the NFL and building, not only to be drafted in the first round, but to stick and build longevity with the Patriots and then with the Saints and the Dolphins before finishing up his time. He's been in the coaching ranks and in the playing ranks, so Tebucky Jones has a great story to tell, and he's going to tell that story in just a few minutes here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, which I'm ecstatic about having Tebucky on for the first time ever. So kind of cool having somebody come into Syracuse for the first time, with that being Cole Swider, and then Tebucky Jones, somebody who is part of the history of Syracuse. So very, very much looking forward to the opportunity to have Tebucky Jones here in just a few minutes, where sports meets that thing called life. And Tebucky Jones, coming from Connecticut, and a place where Syracuse has gotten players in the past, and my guy Irv Phillips, who I've built a friendship with over the years, he came from the great state of Connecticut, and been a big fan of Irv all the way through, and always hoping the best thing for Irv. I definitely hope that whatever he's doing right now, he's happy and he's doing well. I should reach out to him and see how he's doing. So never a bad time to reach out to a friend, folks. Remember that. So with that being stated, Tebucky coming on in just a little bit, and also great timing too, because we're getting into the swing of things with spring practice for college football teams. We will talk about this tomorrow with Mike Sofka in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, which is every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time right here on Wake Up Call, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. But I do want to make mention of the fact that it makes perfect sense that the Jets are in fact going to draft a quarterback 2 overall behind the Jaguars, as they have now traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers for 3 picks. So, looking at this, we're looking at the fact that they have the 3rd overall pick. So the Jets with the 3rd overall pick. No, let me go back. I've confused myself. The Jets have the 2nd pick. They are now going to draft a quarterback, I would think, almost definitely. I know nothing in life is perfectly 100%, but I would say 99.9999999. But in return for Sam Darnold, who was the number 3 overall pick in 2018, the Jets received 3 picks. A 6th rounder this year, and a 2nd rounder and a 4th rounder in 2022. Think about that. A former top pick, a former 1st round pick, a former number 3 overall pick just 3 years ago, was traded for a 6th rounder, a 2nd rounder, and a 4th rounder. Think about that. When you roll the dice high on a quarterback or on anybody, it could go really, really good for you, or it could blow up in your face. Sam Darnold's not terrible, but a number 3 overall pick getting traded for a 6th rounder, a 2nd rounder, and a 4th rounder? I mean, it kind of shows you where the value was on Sam Darnold right now, but he's going to the Panthers, and that also is going to say something about Teddy Bridgewater and his future there, as he signed a 3-year deal last year to go to the Carolina Panthers after having a very, very serviceable time doing what he did with the New Orleans Saints when he had to fill in for Drew Brees, who's now retired. So, definitely crazy here And I would think that BYU's Zach Wilson, this is what I've thought for a while, if Trevor Lawrence goes to Jacksonville, then Zach Wilson would go to the Jets. So I would say that that's where I would, if I had to put my feet to the fire right now, that's what I would say would happen. And with now seeing Sam Darnold leave, there's no quarterback competition with the Jets. It's now completely open. And we'll have to see. Now, even though Teddy Bridgewater went just last year to the Carolina Panthers, they allegedly had offered the Detroit Lions Teddy Bridgewater and the number 8 overall pick this year in the draft for Matt Stafford. And the Lions said no and ultimately traded him to the Rams for Jared Goff and a bunch of picks, which I still think that the Lions totally won in that one. Not that Matt Stafford's not talented, but you get a former number 1 overall pick in Jared Goff, who is a lot younger than Matt Stafford in the game, and more years, longevity, plus you get a bunch of picks. I thought that was huge. So the Panthers definitely not really sold on Teddy Bridgewater, it looks like, with them being part of trade talks and whatnot already, having him for not even a calendar year. Bridgewater was signed last year to that 3-year deal I talked about, a $63 million contract that in reality, as I told you, when you see these contracts that are signed, it doesn't ultimately mean that that's exactly the deal. When it says 9-year, it could be a 5-year because there's player opt-outs, there's the team opt-out, where they can make that move. And at the same time, if it's a $100 million deal, sometimes it's $54 million when you break everything down and look at what's guaranteed. So Teddy Bridgewater signed a 3-year deal, but it's actually a 2-year deal the way that everything is structured. Now he's going to count $22.9 million against this year's salary cap, with only $7.9 million in savings against the cap if the Panthers cut him after June 1st. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. But this Sam Darnold deal to the Carolina Panthers now opens up where is Bridgewater going to go a year after he was made a starter. Now, he came into the NFL and started for Minnesota, and he got hurt. Then he moves off to the Saints, and he backs up Drew Brees, and he comes in and wins a ton of games and helps them to the playoffs. And then because of that, he's getting looked at, and he gets the opportunity to take the job with the Carolina Panthers. And then not even, like I said, a calendar year into it, they're looking to get rid of him already. So, the Sam Darnold thing, new life in Carolina, we'll see what happens. But it kind of certifies almost that Teddy Bridgewater is no longer a starting quarterback, even though he just became a starting quarterback again. And so I feel for Teddy, and I hope that everything goes well with him and him finding the right home, because it looks like he might be left on the outside looking in Carolina. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Tebucky Jones joins the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Avicolli's restaurant, located right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, is proud to be your local neighbor, growing with you for over 20 years. We're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. For takeout, delivery, or catering, call us at 315-622-5100. When you order online and use our promo code AVS10, you will save 10% on your online purchase at myavicollis.com. And make sure to join us monthly for our live on-site broadcasts centered around Liverpool athletics. Avicolli's, your local, trusted neighbor right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook Live on facebook.com/live-now-dt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're connecting with the show, we appreciate so much you being here today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and always Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is my true honor and privilege to welcome my next guest to the show, that being Tebucky Jones. Tebucky played for Syracuse and had 4 seasons there, played running back and defensive back before advancing forward and being drafted in the first round of the 1998 NFL Draft, going on to play for the Patriots, the Saints, and the Dolphins in a long career inside of the NFL. So, with that being said, I proudly bring on one of my childhood favorite players from Syracuse history, Tebucky Jones. Tebucky, how you doing today?
Great. Good morning.
And Tebucky, I mean, I gotta say, and I know I told you off the air, but I mean, you are, and I'm sure I'm not the only one in saying this, you know, to me, you were a fan favorite playing at Syracuse, one of my favorite players to ever watch. Anybody says to me, Tebucky Jones, and it puts a smile on my face because I remember being in the Dome watching you. So what can you say to you know, the fact that, you know, you are one of those, and I don't know, I mean, do you get a sense of that? Do you still feel that way from the fan base? Because to me, you're one of those names that's always going to live on in the history of Syracuse football.
Yeah, I get people. I remember one time years ago being in Vegas, and a waitress came up to me, and I said my name, and she went to Syracuse, and I was actually one of her favorite fans, so favorite players. But just as well as everyone, you know, fan favorite there. I always loved it there. I still remember I had a group up there that had a sign called Tebucky to Jones to Fan to Club. He said hang all the way up, way at the top of the rafters. And you know, to this day, I still have that banner. They gave it to me my senior year when I graduated, and I still have that banner in my house.
I mean, and that's incredible, and that's amazing. Do you remember when did they give you the banner?
Like right after the last home game.
So for you to take that and to have that and to know that like the fans gave it to you, where is it in your house? Where do you keep it?
Oh, right in my I got a little room with you know, my rings and stuff like that. So it's hung up right in there.
You know, and speaking here with Tebucky Jones, and so awesome to have that fan connection and that love. What do you remember of your time in Syracuse, Tebucky? You know, when we talk about fondest memories, things that stick out to you the most, what are some of those moments in Syracuse history that really never leave you, so to speak?
Well, I can remember when I first got there. So my birthday is in October, early October. And I can remember it snowed before my birthday, first year, and I'm like, holy crap, what the hell? you know, coming from Connecticut, New England, with Connecticut, we get snow, but not like up there. But in fact, I actually enjoyed it. I love the snow. I love the school. Biggest memory, I can remember senior year, I got hurt. Like week 2. I had to get an ankle surgery week 2, and so they told me I would miss probably 8 games, and I ended up coming back in 2, and I think we were playing Tulane. They were undefeated. They had Sean King as the quarterback. And I can remember they were going down to score, and we practiced this play that they ran on the goal line every day. And I ended up picking the ball off for a 98-yard touchdown score. And that's probably one of my fondest memories playing there. And the worst part of it was I went in and scored, then over 100 guys jumped on me, so I couldn't breathe at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, what is that about, Syracuse football? I remember there was a few seasons back, maybe like 4 or 5 seasons ago, where, the tight end caught the game-winning touchdown, and everybody jumped on him, and I'm like, yo, man can't breathe, and, like, you don't want him to be injured for the postseason and whatnot. So, I think it's interesting you bring that up, because there's that, like, pile-on thing, and then you're at the bottom of the pile going, yo, guys, if you want me to pick the ball next game, y'all got to get off me. So,
and especially after running, you're running, you're out of breath.
So,
everyone jumps, but it's a great feeling, though. Get that play, score, win the game. Because we went on a winning streak after that, and ended up playing in the Fiesta Bowl. So it was a good ending, for my senior year being there.
Yeah, and for you, when you went through your time at Syracuse, you were on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. Did you have a preference? And what was, what do you kind of look back on and think about when they brought you in, they put you at running back and then shifted you over to DB? I know you played on special teams as well and kick return. So was there a favorite spot that you had in the whole situation? And what did you think about? Did you like or dislike the fact that you were moved around?
No, I always looked like, even like in high school, I always looked at myself as an athlete. So I was like one of those guys. It didn't really matter what sport it was. I picked it up easy. So I did it playing offense, defense, special teams. I always, whatever helped the team win, it didn't matter. I will play it, and that kind of happened in the pros too. I played like special teams, defense. I remember one year I played defense, and I started every special team, even field goals. So wherever I was always needed, I'd do anything to win.
And having that mentality, I know you coach for a bit as well in more recent history. Being somebody who was willing to do anything to help the team win, doing whatever it takes on offense, defense, and special teams, how does that translate into how you taught your team when guys, wanted to be somewhere, they wanted to start here, maybe they didn't like where you were moving them, they thought they knew better than you did? How did you use your experience of being in all 3 phases of the game to help as a coach when a player maybe didn't like where you put them or didn't like the fact that you asked them to shift to another position?
Well, I always told them, especially the guys who had opportunities to go on, play in college, didn't matter if it was D3, 2, or 1, that the position you're promised in high school is never promised in college. So you should be. I would like to try, especially top players, like if you're running back, your defensive back. I love to move them all over around just to play different spots because I've been through it. When I went to college, I played running back and safety and also special teams. So, the more you can do for a team, the more valuable you are.
And do you think that that's what it was for you? When you got drafted in the first round by the Patriots, 22nd overall, do you feel that because you played in all 3 phases that you became a more attractive pick for them in a sense?
Yeah, I thought it helped a lot because, even my senior year when I switched over, there's a couple games I got in, certain plays near the goal line, and I went in as a running back too. So I always thought that in anything, the more you do, the more valuable you are. So I remember played Miami down there, and I went in. I got a pick in the game, and then after I went down, I think it was McIntosh got hurt. So then it was D. Brown and Rob Conrad. So we got in about 30 yards out. They put me in with those guys. I ended up scoring like a 30-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and it puts you in a situation to always be kind of a danger on the field, no matter who you're playing against. Speaking here with Syracuse Orange and NFL running back, a defensive back alone, Tebucky Jones here, and very happy to have you here on the show today. We have a message that came in from one of our owners here in the community at Pizza Man Pub, Jim Delia, and he said, "That's amazing. That was one of my all-time favorite banners hanging up in the dome growing up. Glad it was special to Tebucky. He's the man, great player." So not just you remembering those banners, the banner that you talked about having there, and really cool to see a fan and somebody who's obviously ingrained in our community as a business owner saying that he remembers that exact banner that you have in your home now and happy that it meant something to you. So, Tebucky, these Syracuse fans never forget.
Yeah, man. I tell people all the time. I mean, there's a lot of people down here in Connecticut that went to school. Sometimes I see cars, they drive by, they got the stickers on their car. I blow the horn at them. They don't know what I'm blowing the horn at, but I try to point at the Syracuse stickers. Like that. You can get some alumni love, to all the people around. But I tell people all the time, I always loved it there. I enjoyed my time. I got lifetime friends I played with, on the teams, and I enjoy talking to them now. I'm trying to go up June, I think it's 6, somewhere around there, to play in the golf tournament for Paul just passed away. I mean, rest in peace. He was my strength coach.
Yeah.
Up in New England for a few years. So I love to go up, play in the golf tournament, and represent him. Helped me out a lot. Kept my speed up. Got that 4.3 down to a 4.2. So big respect.
And Tebucky, to have that, like you said, blowing the horn to see the fans. Fans of Syracuse are all over the country, all over the world, and really anywhere you go. I remember working at Disney, and you have the choice on your name tag to put either like the college that you're going to or to put your city that you came from, your hometown. And so I put Syracuse, New York, and it has your first name, and so it said Daniel, Syracuse, New York. And I can't tell you how many times people would look at my name tag and yell out, "Go Cuse." And I mean, sometimes it was like every week. Sometimes it felt like every day. But so many people coming from all over the world to Disney, and they would see it, and they would say, "Go Cuse." And a little kid had the 2003 national championship for men's basketball. The ring, he had the shirt with the ring on it, and I had the exact same shirt. And he came into the restaurant I was working at Hollywood Studios, and his mom was like, "Go show him, like, look at his name tag." And he saw where I was from, and I told him I had the exact same shirt. And I mean, I can't tell you how many. I mean, a fan would walk up and just kind of whisper in my ear, "Go Cuse," or they'd yell out to you. And it's really remarkable and incredible that they really are everywhere. And Syracuse fans have no problem, like bumping fists with you, coming out and saying something to you. It's a camaraderie with total strangers that I think is really cool. And it shows you that the sports world brings people together in a really unique way.
Oh yeah, huge. I can remember me and my wife. We were down in Dominican Republic some years ago, and a little kid had that jersey, that T-shirt on. It surprised me. Like, wow, we're all the way in Dominican Republic, and one of the little kids out there got a national championship basketball shirt on from Syracuse.
Yeah, maybe it's the same kid. Maybe he just gets to go on really cool vacations. So,
yeah.
Tebucky Jones hanging out with us of Syracuse and NFL history. Tebucky, going back to, like you said, you try to keep up with your teammates and stay in touch with them. Who are some of the teammates you have the best relationships with, like, still to this day?
Oh, Marvin Harrison, Dana Cottrell, Antoine Pons, stay in touch with Rod Gatson a little while. Sometimes, but he was my roommate too. Marvin and Rod was my roommate freshman year. Donovan Darius, I just talked to him the other day. So it's a few of them. Phil Nash, a couple guys on social media. I've seen Kevin Johnson a couple times here and there. So, yeah, we tight little bunch. We try to communicate as much as possible.
You know, and having that, you know, places say that they're a family, they're a brotherhood, they're a sisterhood. It's a more than a team. Some people mean it, some people don't. Obviously, Syracuse created that family atmosphere. You guys still wouldn't be talking today. What can you tell me about life on that team? Like in practice, in the locker room, what was it like to have the personalities that you had on that team?
Oh, it was fun because we had serious guys that are serious. We had a lot of jokesters on the team, and especially Kevin Johnson. He's always, you know, joking around. McNabb. I remember tackling him in the spring game, and he was laughing at the bottom of the pile. Like, what the hell's wrong with this dude? So that's the kind of stuff, you know, joke around, play around. We do. I remember pranks in the bathroom, like someone would put clear like foil over the toilet bowl. Somebody, you know, it's all kind of crazy stuff going on in there, and you know, it was all good times. Fun times, and those are things you always remember.
So I gotta ask you, because I played a lot of pranks in college too, and I never thought that I couldn't do it, but I didn't know how much of a prankster I was until my friend, shout out Steve Stahl, until he kind of declared war upon my home. And when that happened, you know, I did my Godfather impression. I was like, if you write it in blood, then we're writing it in blood. Like if we're pranking, we're pranking. And I went off for a while after that. Who was the best prankster on the team?
Wow, let me see. Probably, Scott Karen and Scott Mitchum.
Okay. Why so?
Those are crazy. I think it's more crazy than prankster. You know, I remember they went through campus. Like Scott had an old rest in peace. He just passed away last 2 years ago now. But they went on his truck. He had a pickup truck, old beat up pickup truck, and they ran through the school with mask on and jock straps through the campus. They could never figure it out. Look, I'm telling now, it's like 30 years later, 25 years. But yeah, those guys used to do some crazy stuff.
Well, and the thing that's good is the statute of limitations is only 5 years, so you're good.
Yeah.
Did you ever play any pranks, Tebucky?
Me, nah, not. I was a jokester, but
okay.
Not like pranking people doing. Like I could rank. I was one of those guys. Getting a little rank battle.
Yeah.
Sometimes I won a lot.
So tell me about that a little bit. Who'd you go up against?
No, it was just anybody.
Okay.
Like you come in with something funny, you know, some crazy clothes on or something like that. A lot of times I'll say something about it. But they, you know, guys said stuff, you know, right back at me, so it was all good and fun.
So I got to ask you about, because I haven't had the opportunity yet to speak with Marvin Harrison, who obviously had an illustrious career in the NFL, had a great bond with Peyton Manning, and just brought some incredible Madden numbers to the game, and when he was at Syracuse was tremendous as well. What can you tell me about being a teammate of Marvin Harrison, connecting with him, and your friendship with Mr. Harrison?
I'll tell you what, in freshman year, he's the best thing. He's the best roommate in the world. He kept food in the refrigerator. He always, you know, welcomed us, you know, and eating it. And the funny thing, he never ate it.
Yeah.
He was eating McDonald's all the time. I'm sitting there like, this dude eating McDonald's. How is he staying this thin? eating McDonald's. He was a McDonald's guy, and looking at him from back then to now, he's actually like the same size.
Yeah.
I think everyone else I saw put on some weight.
Marvin just has. I had a friend in school, Matt, in elementary school. Same thing. He could eat literally anything that was not good for you, and he wouldn't gain a pound.
Yeah, I can't understand that. He got the fastest metabolism in the world.
Well, Marvin was fast, so you know maybe it fit with them. And that. Do you have a favorite Marvin Harrison story?
Best. Well, I was about to give you one of my best plays. That over route. Every time he ran that over route. I always put my hands up. I knew it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Once he caught it, it's really people gonna catch him.
So that's yeah. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
My memory a little shot. Playing in the league so long.
No, you're okay.
I'm trying to think of stories. But the best thing for me that I got in trouble at school.
Yeah.
And he was right there, snap of a finger, to help me out. That's why I give big up respect to Marvin. Friend for life.
And do you feel like, if you needed him now, he would be there again?
Oh, all the time. Marvin's that dude.
Fair enough. That coming from Tebucky Jones, Syracuse and NFL alum. Speaking on Marvin Harrison, I have to ask you about a guy who I told you off the air. I razz a lot. I appreciate him, love him, part of the family, extended family, Dana Cottrell, but he picked the wrong team, and so did you. So, being former Patriots, bring me into that because, Dana and you both went to Syracuse, and you also both went to the New England Patriots. I can respect you both for your game and forgive you for it, but it's a tough thing for me to stomach, knowing what they've done to my Jaguars historically. But what can you tell me about Dana Cottrell?
Yeah, Dana's my man. I still keep in contact with Dana to this day. We actually planning to go up, hopefully together, up to the golf tournament. Dana, the best thing was, it's funny because he's from Mass and I'm from Connecticut. We both end up in New England.
Yeah.
So, he graduated a year before me. But it's crazy how he was there and I ended up there together. So the biggest thing, even though I was from Connecticut, I really didn't know anything about Mass. So he basically showed me around and showed me the way down there.
And what are your favorite moments, stories with Dana Cottrell, either Syracuse or in New England when he was showing you around?
The best one is probably not even either one of those. Really, it was the greatest thing. Marvin was getting inducted, so I was coming to the Hall of Fame. I was coming back from Texas, and we decided to make a guy trip. So me, Dana, a couple other players. It's like, you know what? I just got home like 2 a.m. I took the train 4 to go to Philly, and we drove from Philly to Canton. So it was 3 other guys. They bailed out, so it was me and Dana. We went down and drove down, and it was a blast. I had a blast with them. We hung out down there, and we stayed in Cleveland. Got to see some of the other guys that came down. Only bad part about it is that I probably would never do again is the ride was too long for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know Pennsylvania was that long across. So.
Yeah. Pennsylvania is like one of the most boring. Like I said, I love PA. It is one of the most boring states to drive through.
Yeah, there was nothing but trees.
Yeah. For like 4, it's like 4 hours of just staring at the same road the whole time.
Oh yeah, all day. I'm glad he was good to drive because I just flew in like 2 a.m. Got on the train, went to Philly, and we just took off.
Yeah.
And it was great. We had a great time. Got to see Marvin get inducted. Seen a couple other guys that we played with down there. in the for Syracuse and in the pros. So great time.
What was it like being at the induction to the Hall of Fame for Marvin Harrison?
Oh, it was incredible. Going down. First roommate, and when he got inducted in, that's one thing I said I'd never miss. Any guy I played with, Syracuse. So we took that trip. Even though I was kind of beat from coming from Texas, I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna miss it."
Yeah.
And I actually got to see his wife and his son. I haven't seen him in years, so it was great seeing him again. She used to hang out with my wife in college when she came down, so a little connection there.
Yeah, and to have that moment and to have these connections with your teammates still to this day. And speaking of teammates, your first year, speaking here with Tebucky Jones on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, your first year with New England, right after being drafted, you had Drew Bledsoe, Robert Edwards, Terry Glenn on the team, Ben Coates, Tom Tupa, who filled in for the Jets at one point when he was on their team as the quarterback when they ran out of quarterbacks. You had
the punter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom. Him.
It was crazy. And you had Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, Teddy Bruschi. I mean, the team that
McGinnis.
The team that you were on was so. I mean, everybody thinks about New England with Tom Brady and all that, but before all that happened, I mean, you guys were stacked when you came in as a newbie in the NFL. What can you tell me about, coming onto a team, seeing all this talent, and then, on the defensive side of the ball that you're learning from the Teddy Bruschi's and the Ty Laws and the Willie Clays and the Lawyer Malloys. I can't even imagine the words, the Willie McGinnis, of you walking onto this team. What was that like?
Well, it was the best thing for me. It was great having, and then actually Willie Clay too.
Yeah.
Was sick. So it was great for me because me just playing the position for 1 year allowed me to, come in and learn from guys that have been playing it throughout all their careers. And plus, the year before I went there, they played in a Super Bowl. They played against the Green Bay Packers. So, it was the greatest thing coming in and learning from those guys. Actually, one game I got in the game and Drew saved me. When we were playing, it was at Buffalo.
Yeah.
So Andre Reed, I was guarding Andre Reed at corner, and I was jamming. He couldn't get off the line, so I was jamming him. He couldn't really get off the line, and then he hit me with the veteran okey doke. The ball was snapped, and he stood there. So I looked inside, and he ran the route. And I dove like the last. I had my hand on the ball, but he ended up catching the ball and scoring. And Drew came in and brought us back down for the win. Much respect, Drew Bledsoe. He saved me.
Well, and the thing is with Drew Bledsoe is, after he went down with an injury, and here comes this backup quarterback from Michigan who was a 6th-round compensatory pick to the New England Patriots.
Third string.
Yeah, and he walks in, and that's the end of Drew Bledsoe in New England. So I want to go back to Drew for a second. What can you say? I mean, you just said much respect to him and what he did to bail you out. What did he mean as a leader to the team and as a quarterback on the team? Because he has become a forgotten man after everything that Tom Brady's done. So what can you say about Drew Bledsoe being your quarterback originally when you came to the Patriots?
Yeah, Drew was a leader. I'm coming in, leader. Drew's the man. I mean, that big guy, 6'6", strong arm, sit in the pocket, calm under pressure. I can never forget stuff like that. Won a game. I mean, think about it. He was a high draft pick. He took the team to Super Bowl before.
Yeah.
And, they ended up losing, but they got there. He was a great guy. Face of the team. Great guy to be around. I could talk on and on with Drew. He used to give me tips as a quarterback when I was corner when I first came in. So A guy who's always willing to help the team do anything to win. Much respect from me.
And then things shift to Tom Brady while you're on the New England team in the early part of the 21st century, and you, no big deal, go to and win a Super Bowl. So speak with me on the transition first of Bledsoe to Tom Brady. As you said, he was the third string quarterback on the roster. When he stepped in for an injured Drew Bledsoe, what was going through your mind? How much did you know about Tom? Did you guys have a relationship prior to? I mean, what can you tell me about the transition?
Well, I know first off, when it happened, I thought Damon Hewitt was going in. Because Damon Hewitt, we brought him in, and then they ended up putting Tom in. But I didn't really, there was no like, oh man, the season's over. Yeah. There was none of that type of stuff because I used to watch him a couple of times when he first got there. I used to stay out there so with him. He's one of those guys that when practice is over, like when he first practiced, he's still out there. He's throwing the ball. He's working on this out route because I remember when he first got there, the arm wasn't that strong, but he worked on it. When we have like running groups, instead of running with his group, he's running with the DBs or the receivers. So he's always pushing, pushing himself more, like over that capacity. And actually, he was a quiet guy. He wasn't really into the game. He got more amped up during the game, but usually during the week and all, he was more quiet. I guess he grew into the role. So I always knew that when he got in, I didn't really, of course, when Drew went down, we were like, oh, crap, Drew went down. But I knew his work ethic. I could see his work ethic. And he's always working on things. And then that's what made him the player he is today.
And in 2001, in that season, moving forward, he led the team 5 seconds after becoming a starter, it felt like, for the Patriots. Here he is with you and the rest of the squad going to the Super Bowl against the St. Louis Rams and defeating the Rams. Bring me into that season, a 14-5 season, I believe, that you were part of. Just what you can say about that. I mean, Drew, like you said, you came onto the team. Drew was a leader. You respected him. He bailed you out before on the field and whatnot. And then in comes Tom Brady, who you thought was going to be the third-string guy, and he's doing his thing. And then right after, it feels like almost immediately after, I know that there was a bunch of games, but he comes in and he leads this team after I thought growing up as a kid, wow, Drew's a really good quarterback. He's not going to lose his job. Tom Brady took it and never gave it back and won that first Super Bowl that he had, and you got to be a part of that run. Bring me into that incredible season where you got to bring home some hardware.
Well, look, before you got hurt, we were 1-4 at the time. So he came in. It went so fast, I don't even remember. That's like next thing you know, we're like 5-5. 6-5, 7. Then I remember we lost to the Rams early during the regular season. Yeah, and I can remember that game. Like we lost to the Rams, but we should have won the game. Remember fumbling 1 yard line, drop pass and stuff like that. So I can remember once we got into the playoffs and beat the Raiders, went down to Pitt, beat the Steelers. I remember going into the Super Bowl, and we were a huge underdogs, huge underdogs. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, these people ain't seeing what I saw weeks, like week 10, week 11, whatever week it was when we should have beat them the first time. So I knew a lot of people, all these bookies out there made a big mistake with their choosing the Rams, go over and beat us. And the biggest thing with Tom is that last drive. They tied the game. He kept little short pass, dumping, and I think he wanted to keep going, but we ended up calling he got us in field goal range. Adam Vinatieri comes in, knock it down. Next thing you know, Super Bowl 36 chance.
And so few people, speaking here with Tebucky Jones, Syracuse, an NFL alum and Super Bowl champion, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So few players, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of players throughout the history of the NFL, no matter how well they played individually, will never experienced being at the game, let alone winning the game. You got to bring me on the field with the confetti and that moment. I mean, a Super Bowl, you can say forever that you are on a short list of Super Bowl champions when we look at the percentage of teams that actually get to say they are and players that get to say they are. Tell me about what it was like to be standing on that field with the helmet off, looking up at the score and knowing that you were at the top of the NFL in that moment.
Yeah, I can remember he made that field goal, and all I can remember is Antoine Smith running to the middle of the field with his helmet up, and I'm looking like, oh, wow, we just really did it. The whole time I believed 100% that we were going to win anyway. So, but seeing guys, it was crazy. I mean, I'm not a crier, but I see a lot of tears, confetti's all over the place. Our families come down. That was the best part of coming down. Got the chance to, enjoy the win with us. And probably the best thing about it is we were in New Orleans for the Super Bowl and Mardi Gras at the same time.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're in New Orleans is an incredible city. And, so for you, I mean, what did you do? Like you said, you saw Antoine run by you with his helmet off and whatnot. What was your what was your immediate reaction? Bring me into the first thing you did when the game truly was yours and it was over. What was the first reaction you had? And then how long did it take for it to sink in to you that day itself? So what was the first reaction you had? And then what was kind of the reaction once it kind of settled with you?
Oh, no, it settled quick with me. I seen Antoine, I took my helmet, rolled it in the air, and then basically, for all the people who don't believe, I think I was shouting something like that. We believe, we always believe. And, it sunk in fast. I knew already. It's like a vision. I knew I had this dream. We won. We went out, played, won the game, and it came reality. So it's I already had that vision and that we were going to win the game. But the biggest thing is the perks after the Super Bowl. Everything went up. You do autograph signings, more. I mean, the fans. It's just I can't even explain it.
What's the parade like? I mean, what's that experience like of the parade? And then I'm guessing at that time too, you went to the White House.
Well, no, I didn't go to the parade or the White House because in that game, what a lot of people don't know is did you see when I ran the fumble recovery back, the 98-yard recovery?
Yeah, what happened?
I in the first quarter I got hit, so I was playing. I ripped my whole quad across.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really supposed to play in the second half, but I played anyway. So after that game, my leg was I couldn't even walk. That's how swollen my leg was. But the adrenaline, until I got back to that hotel room, then it all kicked in. So yeah, I was in the training room the whole time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you have any type of family celebration when you went back home? Did they do anything for you when you went home?
No, we flew back. Well, my wife and them, they were there.
Yeah.
I had family there. So when we flew back, I went straight to the training room. I already had in my mind that I needed to get healthy to make another run at it again.
So for you, it was like
I lived in there.
I was gonna say, so like for you, it's like you come onto the field, you put your helmet in the air, and you're already thinking like 5 seconds after winning this massive game, the biggest game in football, you're like, I gotta go to chapter 2 now.
Yeah, I already had it. We can do it again.
Yeah. And I mean, did you think that seeing what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were able to put together, when you went on that Super Bowl run and you won it, and you had that moment with him after Tom came in for an injured Drew Bledsoe, did you think that, because I think it's so easy for people to say now that, oh yeah, we knew he was going to be the guy, but I mean, you were on the team with him. Did you genuinely believe that he would be as successful as he's been, or has he surprised you?
Yeah, I think he surprised everybody. Yeah. I don't know anybody who could say this journey, this plus 20 years, most winningest franchise in the NFL in the last 20 years was going to be like this. The only thing I could say is, like, at the year after we won it, the next year, we started off on fire. It was like, I can remember who's going to beat him. We were blowing everybody out. We ended up not making it to the playoffs, but I could see, like, the potential. I could see, like with Bill, he's like a teach him. A lot of guys, you get to the league, and you should already know, and then you just work on little things. Now, he goes back to the basics. Like, if you do it this way, it'll work because of this. And you do it this way, and you could see the team gravitating to all that.
Yeah. With
the help of Brady, which he was already a workaholic anyway. So even though I ended up leaving, I could kind of see them winning. The program changing, winning and winning. I ain't know this many times, but I could see it coming.
Do you ever look back and think you should have stayed, or no?
Yeah, no, I never really. I didn't. I never wanted to leave.
Yeah.
It's just business. I ended up getting franchised, ended up leaving, but yeah, think about it. That being there was the best thing for me. I'm from there, so you get a lot of family and friends. Be able to see them all the time. It's not that kind of homesickness. Like, I remember when I left and went to New Orleans, I kind of got homesick because I was so used to being, close to home and then my family.
Yeah.
And I ended up going down by myself.
And when you did that, and we look back on it, speaking here with Tebucky Jones on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios, kind of the irony of winning the Super Bowl in New Orleans and then going to play in New Orleans with you becoming a Saint and then ultimately going to Miami. What are your best memories of New Orleans and Miami? I'm sure nothing can hold up to what you did with the Patriots, but what fond memories do you have of New Orleans and Miami?
New Orleans, man, I could not keep my weight down. The food is too good. I could work out, train, and it's the food. That's got to be the best food on the planet down there. Down in New Orleans. Stayed there a few years. I enjoyed my time there. I enjoyed the weather. It was super hot, which I love. I love, like, the heat.
Yeah.
I guess that comes with getting older, I think, because I used to love the snow when I was younger. But yeah, I enjoyed it there in Miami. Actually, Miami, when I went to Miami, it was closer to when Nick Saban was coaching, so it was actually a lot similar to being in New England with a lot of the styles of defenses and stuff. I guess you got Saban and Belichick under that same coaching tree.
Yeah.
And so, then I ended up going back to New England. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah. And when you did, that full circle approach for you to come back, what did that mean to you to go where it all started with the team that drafted you, with the team that drafted you, the team you won a Super Bowl with, to go home to New England to end your career and to, like you said before, be close to home. not everybody gets to write a story that comes that full circle. So what was that like for you?
Well, the best, like when I went back to New England, you know, the best thing is Belichick. It was Mr. Kraft, those guys, and it's like, so are you glad to be back home?
Yeah.
And that like made, you know, that I felt great. Like while I left and he got, you know, welcome and come back and big welcoming. That's one thing I'll never forget. And when you play a place like that, that's a true organization.
What can you say about Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft? I mean, like you said, it's a true organization, and them looking at you saying, are you glad to be back home? I could tell that's a big moment for you. How would you describe even deeper Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, who have obviously worked together to, pun totally intended, craft an incredible franchise? So what can you say about those two guys?
Well, but being more with Bill's a great guy. A little different than the media. Like when he talks to the media and when he's behind closed doors, totally different guy. He's actually pretty funny. A little dry humor. You know, invites you in the office, conversations, working out, crap, always, you know, you practicing. He's around the practices, stuff like that, and that's, to me, that's a good owner. You know, when you're invested in the players, not just, you know, paying the salaries, but you're actually there. You know, you get some places they're not there. I mean, you see them for the team photo, but they're not there. You know.
Yeah.
So he made it like a family, and that's a good, you know, great thing about it. Go parties to his house. You know, things like that make every player feel like you're home, like you're home away from home.
That coming here from Tebucky Jones. Tebucky, final piece here, and, you know, incredible conversation of everything you got to do, because I obviously grew up knowing you at Syracuse, and, you know, you being able to go from there and become a Super Bowl champion and play with Tom Brady, play with Drew Bledsoe, be in the transition of two, have Bill Belichick and
Hold on. Yeah. I like to correct people.
Yeah, go ahead.
I played with Drew Bledsoe, but Tom Brady played with me because I'm older.
I like that. I can roll with that. I played with Drew Bledsoe.
I was there first.
Yeah. I like that. I played with Drew, but Tom played with me. I like that. That's good. So, Tebucky, great stuff today. I mean, that was awesome. Before I let you go, nobody, I mean, I would imagine no one's given you the opportunity to ask the questions in your career. Players get asked, but they don't get to flip the script. And I do a thing on my show called Rapid Fire where my interviewee, which is you today, gets to put me on the hot seat and flip it around. So you can ask me any three questions, football related, family, life, doesn't matter. But you can ask me any three questions in the world. I'm going to hand you the microphone and let you do something that players never get to do. So whenever you're ready, I'm on the hot seat. You can ask me a question.
All right. First time you caught a football?
First time I caught a football. Dang. I was probably little. So I would say I was little. I mean, I grew up playing basketball. I remember the first time I picked up a basketball or anything like that was 3. But catching a football, I always liked to play catch. And I would say that still to this day, I have a football on my back deck, like ready to go. And whenever somebody comes over the house, that's one of the first things on my mind is like, you want to go throw the football. So I would say I was probably younger, but older than when I first picked up the basketball, which was 3.
All right. How many children you have?
I don't have any yet. I have a dog who acts like my child all the time, but not a dad yet. Someday, hopefully, God willing, I'll have that opportunity, but haven't met the right person, so don't have any children yet.
Favorite Jaguar?
Oh man, this one is easy. He's picture in my studio and everything. Fred Taylor, by far my favorite Jaguar of all time, and
same draft class.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, such an incredible player, and huge fan of Fred. I mean, Keenan McCardell, Jimmy Smith, Mark Brunell, a lot of guys on that team. Obviously, Donovan Darius coming from Syracuse, going to the Jags, Aaron Beasley, a lot of amazing players, but I would have to tell you that, by far, anybody that knows me would say Fred Taylor, hands down. So,
Yeah,
Fred.
great running back.
So that coming from Tebucky Jones. Tebucky, thank you, Sean. I know this is the first time you've been on the show, but I would love to have you back, and I thank you so much for your time. This has been incredible, funny, exciting. Statute of Limitations is done, so you got to tell some stories. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that repeatedly when I talk about you with people, and especially when people listen back to the show, that you played with Drew, but Tom played with you. I like that. So. All right, man. So thank you for everything, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
All right.
That coming from Tebucky Jones once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Incredible. Tebucky, that was awesome. So shout out to Tebucky Jones and much appreciation. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll be bringing you the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's, right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So hang here with us, and inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, we continue to make history on Wake Up Call. Because what's better than doing that?
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way over to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. They are closed on Monday, but they are now open all week long for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday, and obviously for breakfast and brunch on Sunday. So you can now go to their indoor restaurant all throughout the week. They had to have that, obviously, with many businesses closed during Corona, and they're now able to bring you in during the week. So the bistro menu is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but the restaurant itself, Tuesday through Sunday, is open for you all throughout the week. So you can go through the drive-thru, grab your food, and go. You can go inside and eat at the Millhouse Market for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday, and on Sunday until 3 o'clock. And the general store is open Tuesday through Sunday. So now back to the normal piece here, where we can see the Millhouse Market with their general store, their indoor restaurant, and their drive-through pickup window open for you Tuesday through Sunday, inside and outside. Loving it so much that we get to evolve with the Millhouse Market as we move forward. And they have incredible food, from their homemade breads to their desserts and their salads, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, the Millhouse Market is here for you on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every time. With that being stated, final piece of today's broadcast inside of the Cafe Kubal studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is, of course, the Ingredients to Success, which rounds out every single show on Tuesdays. So, the Ingredients to Success brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. It's where we will be tonight with Liverpool boys basketball. So if you'd like to come out and see Wake Up Call and shake hands, bump fists, or wave to each other, whatever you do during Corona time, you can come out to see us tonight on the pizza side. So when you walk in, go into the left side, and we'll be there on the pizza side with Liverpool boys basketball. Ryan Blackwell, former Syracuse player and head coach of Liverpool, will be there with me and his team as we will go live on site, on location, with Liverpool Warriors boys basketball at Avicolli's tonight, April 6th at 6 p.m. So make sure you come out and hang out with us, grab a slice, get something to drink, and have some fun with us over at Avicolli's. The Ingredients to Success topic for this week and its subsequent Ingredients to Success, the topic that I've chosen for this week is keeping the outside noise outside. I know I've talked about this before, but it needs to be discussed. So I would say keeping the outside noise outside. And how you do that? Well, you practice methods, positive methods, healthy methods of not listening to the outside noise. Maybe you listen to music. Maybe you take a walk. Maybe you pray. Maybe you meditate. Maybe you do some yoga. Maybe you hang out with a friend. Maybe you draw, or you paint, or you write in a journal, or you write a song, or whatever you may need. But keeping the outside noise outside is the only way to live life. Because listen, you don't want the crickets in the house, and you don't want the locusts in the house, and all that loudness. So I would tell you that outside noise by definition belongs outside. And as we've spoken about it before here on the show, it's important for you to hear constructive criticism. It's important for you to, see where you could get better. But the outside noise that's destructive, it's hateful, it's negative, it's attacking, this is what I believe. If somebody attacks you, it's not from God. If somebody's destructive, it's not from God. If it's hate speech, it's not from God. If it's meant to be lethal and hurt you and put you down, it's not God. And if it's not from God, you don't need it. If that gift that's underneath my tree doesn't say, to Dan from God, I'm not opening it. So, if it's negative and it's hateful, then leave it outside. And even the constructive stuff, hear it, but you have to live within your own world, right? You can't let people rent out loft apartments in your brain. That belongs to you. That is your home. So you need to live in it. Just you. And in my case, me and God sit on that couch in that home and we talk every day. So I know that life can get cumbersome. I know it can get bothersome. And I know that what people say and do really weighs on our souls sometimes. But my best advice to you is that keeping that outside noise outside brings you peace. I don't want to listen to motorcycles revving up. I don't want to listen to the locusts and the mosquitoes, like I said, and the helicopters and the horns. So, like I said, sometimes you got to turn on music. Sometimes you have to meditate. Sometimes you have to pray, do yoga, walk, play basketball, play baseball, throw the football around like Tebucky and I were talking about. Whatever it takes to keep the outside noise outside. Because you deserve to have peace. And we think that, I had a bad day today. I let all the outside noise inside. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Before you know it, it's 3 years of doing that, and you wasted all that time. Time is precious. None of it is promised. With each passing second, we don't know how many more seconds we'll have. We might have 90 years. Or we might have 5 more seconds. So if life has taught me anything, it's that a wake-up call is what we all get, and we need to listen to it. because you don't want that phone to keep ringing. You want to answer it the first time you get the wake-up call. We're not perfect, but we deserve to be happy, healthy, safe, and peaceful. So, don't be the outside noise that people need to shut off, and don't let the outside noise in that people are blaring outside of your home. Keep the outside noise outside, because that's where it belongs. And you belong treating this well, and being a good person. Not just to other people, but to yourself. Sometimes we choose one or the other, and either one of those is damaging if we forget the other. So, treat yourself good, treat other people good, and be the best you can be every day. Even when it's hardest, think about what works for you. Painting, drawing, writing, talking on the phone, listening to music, creating music, taking a nap, sleeping, watching your favorite show, going to the movies, going to your favorite restaurant, making pancakes in the kitchen, washing dishes. Things make people, all different people have different ways to kind of calm down. Figure out what works for you and utilize it. Because life is meant to be celebrated and enjoyed. It's not meant to have blaring music where you can't even hear your own thoughts. So, it may take a while, but practice the positive things that work for you to keep the outside noise outside. In a world that is so loud, figure out what helps you stay at peace. I love you all. I send you all my positivity. And I want to thank Cole Swider for telling his story today in a way you'll hear nowhere else. And Tebucky Jones telling his story today in a way you'll hear nowhere else. And Avicolli's trusting me with the ingredients to success and with working with them here in our community. Because we do it differently than everybody else. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is a proud partner of Cafe Cubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicolli's, where you can go online to myavicollis.com and use the promo code AVS10. That's AVS10 to get 10% off all of your online orders. Go to myavicollis.com and use the promo code AVS10. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, Millhouse Market, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn. Go to maandpazpopcorn.com and use the promo code DT20. That's maandpazpopcorn.com. Use my promo code DT20, DT20 to get 20% off online orders for in-store pickup and delivery. So if you're going there anyways, go online and make your order. And if you're having it shipped to any one of the 50 states, go online and make your order. At maandpazpopcorn.com, use my promo code DT20 for 20% off at checkout, exclusively at maandpazpopcorn.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is live for you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can find us here on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. Make sure you go and bookmark my website on WakeUpCallDT.com, which has articles, past shows, past episodes, videos, everything is all right there. If you want everything in one place, go to WakeUpCallDT.com, and it is free to do so. And you can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to get our shows on Stitcher, TuneIn, Podbean, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, YouTube, as I had mentioned, MixLR, and Spotify. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these avenues to pick up our archive of shows today. And with all that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Today, Rex Culpepper joins me with Tea with Rex, as we do every other week at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time as an extension of Wake Up Call on Tuesdays. So you will have Rex with me today. So in just a few minutes, we'll be back on Facebook Live on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. We look forward to seeing you right here, and I'll talk with you soon. So in that meantime, inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios, this is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I am proud to be alive and proud to be a child of God and proud to be here with you. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. I'll talk with you soon. Be good, everybody.